Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, honored. There's no guess. This morning, I discuss what it's like to be Ryan Dumouchel. Now, if you've been to enough meetings, you may think that I have a simple two-track mind. Track one focused on keeping up with the Kardashians, and track two trying to convince everyone that I could care less what they ordered at Starbucks this morning. This morning, I set out to refute that notion. For one, if those are the only two things I was focused on, how could I keep up with the kids on Jersey Shore? But all joking aside, I'm a very complex man, a complex human being that is influenced by a bunch of other things. First of all, I like to take risks. Let me restate that. I love to gamble. Some could say I'm a compulsive gambler. You know how big of a gambler I am? When I went to Vegas, I bet money on the UC Davis basketball team to win a game. Not Monopoly money, real money. Do you know how degenerate this made me look? The bookie actually went to the back to see his supervisor, not because I was being stupid, just to laugh behind my back. Which should be surprising because the UC Davis basketball team would probably struggle to beat the Rio Grande High School basketball team. Now you may think the moral of this story is, don't gamble. Gamblers are degenerate. No, the moral of this story is, don't be stupid. You may not realize it, but we're all gamblers here. Every time we step out of our comfort zone, whether it be to get out of bed in the morning, speak in front of an audience, or start on a quest for world domination, we are all gambling. Yes, by that logic, being in Toastmasters is a form of gambling, but with a very discernible difference. In Vegas, you gamble, the house wins, you go home broke, angry, and wondering where all your money went. In Toastmasters, we win, that voice in your head that says, oh, you can't do that, loses badly, sort of like the UC Davis basketball team. Now, if you were here last week during Table Topics, you'd have heard me talk about how I use Twitter as a news source. Now, there are some people that think Twitter contributes to the dumbing down of America, like the Kardashians. However, I do find a couple legitimate uses with Twitter: therapy and efficiency. How many of you in here are sports fans? Well, I'm a huge fan of the Green Bay Packers. Now, it looked like 2011 was going to be my team's year. We won 15 games, but lost one. We even had a few star players, such as Aaron Rodgers, B.J. Raj, and Clay Matthews, star in the discount double check trilogy. So after getting a week off for being so dominant in the regular season, we play our first playoff game against the New York Giants, who barely snuck into the playoffs. Easy win? Yeah, about that. So while I was watching this travesty of a ball game, I was at my friend's house. I had my smartphone with me, and between yelling profanities at the television every 2 to 3 minutes, I was checking my Twitter feed to see what others are saying about the game. And seeing as the Packers lost 37-20, this turned out to be a non-destructive way to cope with my disappointment. By looking onto Twitter, I realized I was not alone in this world. There are other people that thought, if a team's playing defense, they should actively try to tackle the opposing player. And if the opposing team throws up a desperation pass before halftime, they should make sure it doesn't work. But that's not the only use Twitter has for me. The other one's efficiency. How many of you are busy and find yourself strapped for time? Well, same here. I don't have time to read a newspaper and read a convoluted section for 20 to 30 minutes, in addition to it being bad for the environment. I need my news fast. I need it now. Now, if only there was a place where I could get opinions and news in, say, 140 characters or less. Instead of wasting all that time reading the newspaper, I can go on to Twitter, keep myself well informed on the important news and events of the day, and be on my way within 20 to 30 seconds. And speaking of time, I see that I'm starting to come up within the time constraints of my speech. And considering that we have another speech to get to, evaluations, jobs to go to, and for some of us, another Toastmasters meeting to go to, I figured this would be the time to end my speech. Okay, who am I kidding? I just want to get on my smartphone, go onto Twitter, and see what the Kardashians got at Starbucks this morning. Here's your Toastmasters.